Fuck you. I'm perfect. You're just a robot.
Fatality.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Wake Up 3. We are your hosts, Molly
And Cam. And we are a fighting game podcast from a couple that loves fighting games. And we have something fun in store for you this week.
Oh, yes, we do. I've heard tell. But before that, it is time for a light mix-up. You know, just as tier lists change when a game gets patched, so do the in real life tier lists of the pro competitors of fighting games. So as the MK1 pro competition rolls on, see if you can figure out the top 3 standings currently.
I'm going to guess Sonic Fox.
Okay.
Mighty Unjust. Is he in there? Rewind? No. Foxy. Damn. Is Tekken Master in there?
Yep.
Okay. Is he number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, he's tied with Sonic Fox for first. They have
for
the
real?
same amount of points now that they've both won
Gotcha. Okay.
first place.
Man, I would have thought Foxy or Mighty Unjust would have been in there, so I really don't know who would be the third slot.
It's who faced Tekken Master. The player who plays second place at UFA, Connie Mani.
Oh, okay.
So he's in third.
Gotcha.
So we've got 2 first and then a third.
Okay, cool.
Well, we usually kind of talk about our week in fighting games. What do we got going on?
I've just been grinding as Baraka as usual. I feel like it's going fine, but I'm looking forward to Quan Chi.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot more about Quan Chi. Now that Omni-Man has come out and Quan Chi's on deck.
Yeah, and you're about to hear about him a whole lot more, because that's what this episode is about. So today we're going to talk about Quan Chi. I love Quan Chi, but that wasn't always the case. For some reason, I used to kind of be a hater. I don't know what it was about him exactly, but what were your thoughts on him when you first saw him?
I feel like I kind of agree with that trajectory of at first I maybe didn't like him that much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Quan Chi takes some warming up to.
I have turned around in a big way since then. I love Quan Chi.
I love him too. I can't wait to hear what you've got.
Let's start with his first appearance. Do you know what his first appearance was? Could you guess?
I
bet you couldn't.
Oh, no?
I bet you couldn't.
I can't?
I bet you'll get it wrong.
Oh,
and
no.
that's not a slight at you. It's just...
Okay, it's
difficult.
I'm just going in with... gonna say what I know is the first game you can play him in MK4.
Well, you got that right at least. He was...
But what's his first appearance?
His first appearance is Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, the cartoon from 1996.
Okay.
So he actually showed up in a cartoon first. He's the only character to have came from that cartoon and made his way into games. And he's hella popular. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially, Quan Chi's like one of your favorite characters. Knowing you, and also knowing that he first showed up in a cartoon, that is very you.
Yeah.
That aligns with something that you would like.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up as a huge fan of the Saturday morning cartoons, and just I remember waking up super early, watching as many random cartoons as I could, and I don't think I ever actually saw the Mortal Kombat cartoon on back in 96.
Can you imagine though if you did?
Would have been pretty cool, but it only ran for 1 season. It was 13 episodes.
Okay.
So it wasn't on for very long, but yeah, I don't remember ever actually catching that one on, but that's where Quan Chi came from.
All right. So just 1 episode then? Or
I think it was just 1 episode, yeah. And then he made his way into his second appearance, Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero.
Oh my.
MK Mythology Sub-Zero came out a little over a year later after the cartoon aired. So this came out in 1997, and it was actually August 31st, 1997. This is a single-player action platformer game where you have to jump on platforms, side switch, and beat up a bunch of dudes. It's a very difficult game, but Quan Chi is the secondary villain in that game. He's actually who you kind of expect to be the main villain for a lot of it. And then he summons Shinnok, and you have to fight Shinnok.
Okay.
And a corrupted form. So,
oh,
yeah,
excellent.
corrupted Shinnok makes an appearance in Mythologies, which is pretty sweet, but that's for another time. In this game, Quan Chi is played by Richard DeVizio in actual live-action cutscenes, which is pretty awesome. You get to hear his voice. He really just hams it up. It's great. I love it. And he would go on to play Quan Chi in Mortal Kombat 4 as well, just the voice, because they did the 3D models for the first time in MK4. But they actually showed him in the full paint on the arcade cabinet for Mortal Kombat 4. In Mortal Kombat Mythologies, he tricks Sub-Zero into helping him collect an amulet, Shinnok's amulet, from the Temple of Elements, because he can't get inside it on his own because he's banished from getting in because he's a bad guy. He's from the Netherrealm. So Sub-Zero does it, and then he realizes, oh, I've been duped, and he has to beat Quan Chi. And fun thing about this game, it actually takes place before the original Mortal Kombat. So that was kind of a way for them to tie in the original trilogy with Mortal Kombat 4, like before it ever happened. They're trying to say, like, oh yeah, Quan Chi was always here behind the scenes. Mortal Kombat 4, 1997. This game came out on September 11th, 1997. This was actually just...
What? Like 2 weeks after the other
Yeah, literally, like straight up 12 days after MK Mythology Sub-Zero. So hopefully you beat that very difficult game in 12 days and learned all the lore.
Yeah, I guess.
Because he is on the side of the cabinet here, like I said, and he's playable for the first time, and he is once again the secondary antagonist, leading up to Shinnok. His ending in MK4 shows him being deceived by Shinnok, only to pull out Shinnok's amulet out of nowhere, destroying the Elder God. Turns out Quan Chi gave Shinnok a fake copy of his own amulet back in MK Mythology Sub-Zero, and kept the original for himself, and Shinnok just didn't notice that his own amulet was a fake. So Shinnok confirmed for being an idiot.
Well, maybe Quan Chi is just confirmed for being a good...
That's okay. Yeah, that sounds better.
Criminal?
Quan Chi is just very cunning, and I guess it shows from the very beginning. He's got 2 fatalities in this game. Leg beatdown, which is one that everybody still knows today. That's a classic. It's pretty great. And fatality steal, where he actually can steal whatever the second fatality is for any other opponent and just do it himself, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, but they're like, we need to make him like a sorcerer in our games.
Right. Well,
so he needs to steal something.
Yeah. Sorcerers are thieves.
Got it.
Moving on to Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, 2002. This was November 20th, 2002. So I've been noticing it seems like a lot of Quan Chi action takes place right around this time of year. Quan Chi is 50% of the boss duo, the Deadly Alliance, making up the name of this game, and he's also the announcer of this game. Although they never say that specifically, it's the same voice actor, and it's voiced in the same way.
Oh.
And the Deadly Alliance have decided that they need to take down the 2 biggest potential threats to them, since they've decided to already kill Liu Kang and team up. In order to take down Earthrealm, they want to also kill Shao Kahn. So they're going to kill Shao Kahn and Liu Kang. They get away with the Liu Kang one at the very beginning of the story. And then the goal is to resurrect the Dragon King's army and then conquer both Earthrealm and Outworld. His ending is non-canon. Quan Chi basically just turns on Shang Tsung and has Kano kill him when Shang Tsung's not paying attention. And then he realizes, oh, Kano's been working for us all this time, and if he could kill Shang, he could kill me too. So he also kills Kano. And one of the souls in the little soul chamber area that they're hanging out in shoots into Kano's body, and to Quan Chi's surprise, the man standing before him is no longer Kano. It's now Liu Kang, but in Kano's body. Kind of weird, kind of random. But that's his ending. It's a totally non-canon, random, stupid thing.
He gets kind of carried away.
He does, yeah. It's pretty weird. I don't know why he would put Liu Kang in.
I don't think he meant to.
I don't think he meant to, but
it happened.
Pretty whack. I feel like Liu Kang would get into that shitty body and just be like, man, I can't do any of my cool kung fu in this thing.
I'm a disgusting man. I cannot possibly fight. I'm so gross.
In Deadly Alliance, every character only gets 1 fatality, and in this one, Quan Chi gets his famed neck stretch, The one where he jumps on your shoulders and just pulls your head up and stretches your neck like a giraffe. But it's like one of the goofiest and lamest ones in the entire series. I kind of hope they bring it back to the brutality. One fun piece of trivia about Deadly Alliance. This was the first Mortal Kombat game that had a crypt. And in this crypt, you could unlock fun little silly pictures of things that were characters doing things that were very out of the ordinary. Like, for example, you could unlock a picture of Quan Chi playing the saxophone and wearing sunglasses.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that was a profile picture or something of mine for a while. I love that picture. Anyways, I also want to say that the way that Quan Chi found the Dragon King army was by fleeing from Scorpion. Well, he was just running away from Scorpion in the Netherrealm. He got away and then just came across this Dragon King army and was like, oh, I could probably use this. And in the end, the Deadly Alliance is successful in resurrecting the Dragon King army, which leads directly into the start of the next game, Deception, 2004. Released October 4th, 2004. It's that same time period, within like a month apart.
Mm-hmm.
This game starts with the Deadly Alliance about to finish off Raiden for good, and then Onaga walks in and destroys all three of them. This is how they show you that Onaga is kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
He just wiped out the two villains from the last game, plus your big ol' Raiden hero that you've always known and loved.
Not for long.
Right?
You're about to hate him.
Yeah. And in Deception, Quan Chi is not playable because he was just destroyed. Kind of like how we covered Reptile in Deadly Alliance and how he got that upgrade, and then he just wasn't in the next game. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Except for, he's just in the cutscene and then gets destroyed immediately.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat Armageddon. This game came out October 11th, 2006. Same time period. 2 years later. This one has every Mortal Kombat character, so 62 fighters in it. 63 if you play on the Wii version, which had the female chameleon.
Oh.
She was also playable in the N64 version of Mortal Kombat Trilogy, so she's only ever been a Nintendo character. Which is why it's kind of cool that we're getting her as a cameo now in Mortal Kombat 1. Anyways, he's in it. This is the game of quantity over quality. There are no unique fatalities in it. There's no like real stories or anything. Pretty sure he was still actually dead at the time this game takes place. So, Mortal Kombat vs. DC 2008. He's in this game. Would you believe it? He's not playable.
What year?
November 16th,
Oh,
2008.
goodness.
Quan Chi makes a cameo in the story mode for this game, and was originally being planned for DLC, along with Harley Quinn, but it was canceled due to poor sales and the closure of Midway Games. I know, right? This is Midway's final Mortal Kombat game.
It's sad that it didn't do well enough for Quan.
Yeah, didn't do well enough.
Did you see him in the game before that? Or
Yeah,
was
he's in the story mode.
Okay.
It was they did one of those Mortal Kombat 1 things where he's in the story mode and then shows he was going to show up as DLC.
Oh no! What if he doesn't actually come out?
Yeah,
as
what if they
DLC?
cancel him and they put someone else in? So yes, he is in cutscenes. They would eventually go on to use this model, or at least an updated version of this model, for Mortal Kombat 9 in 2011.
Okay.
So same outfit, pretty much the same model, just slightly updated.
Ooh, okay.
And then a couple years later, they would put Harley Quinn in Injustice 1. So they did get to make those characters eventually, just not in the game they originally wanted to put them in.
Yeah, and not as Midway.
Right, not as Midway. One other fun thing about Quan Chi and Harley Quinn was also created in a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So she's actually from a cartoon, and then she translated over to comics, movies, whatever. So she was never in the comics to begin with. She was in a cartoon from the 90s first.
A fun little tie for those characters.
Yeah. So,
I also didn't know that about her, so that's cool.
Yeah, they both originated in cartoons.
Huh.
And then translated over to like other parts of the properties because they were just very well received.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Now we're on to Mortal Kombat 2011, aka MK9. This is the first NetherRealm Studios produced Mortal Kombat game.
Knowing that he was left out of the last game makes so much sense looking at MK9.
Right? Mortal Kombat 9 released April 19th, 2011. So they're changing up the formula a little bit. And then for years, that's what they stuck with. Up until Mortal Kombat 1 came out this year in September. So they were on that formula for a while. Quan Chi is an unlockable character in this game. You have to beat the entire 15-chapter story mode. Or 16, 17? Whatever it is. You have to beat the entire story mode in order to unlock Quan Chi.
So he's a Havoc.
Yes. Except for with Havoc, since there are tournaments, you can unlock him if you want to just pay $5 or whatever. But back in this era, you could not do that. And if you played Quan Chi in tournaments, you had to show up to the venue hours ahead of time, beat the story mode, and then I guess just play on that particular console.
Oh my god. Did anybody do that?
I saw reports that there were people that would do that because that was their character.
Damn.
Imagine that. Imagine the nightmare of going to an offline and you having to go there early just to unlock your character.
Imagine being so loyal to Quan Chi.
Quan Chi demands loyalty.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, right? Honestly, I thought that was really cool.
Sounds fair.
Yeah. Quan Chi demands your loyalty.
A loyal Quan Chi fan would do that.
Quan Chi does gain a lot of servants over time, starting with this game. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
It's actually perfect.
Yeah. In Chapter 5, I'm just going to jump right into the story now. In Chapter 5 is the first time you see him.
Okay.
So he's not in it right away.
A little bit of a tease.
A little bit of a tease. He's not in it right away. You play as Liu Kang here, and you fight against Scorpion and Quan Chi together as part of the lead up to Goro and Shang Tsung. This is like the beginning of the end as far as like the first act goes. So this is like Mortal Kombat 1 being retold. And Quan Chi's here.
So how it should have always been.
Basically. Pretty much. Quan Chi also makes Bihan into Noob Saibot at some point between Chapter 5 and Chapter 11, which is where we're at now, because he doesn't really show up again for a while until he makes Noob. So now that's happened. That's your backstory. And now we're playing as Kung Lao. Kung Lao has to fight both Shang Tsung and Quan Chi together before Kintaro. This leads to the end of Part 2. So once again, he's just kind of like a secondary boss on the lead up to the end of a chapter. He's celebrating his victory over Kintaro and 2 sorcerers that he just beat. He just beat the Deadly Alliance, which is pretty cool. This is where Shao Kahn walks up and snaps Kung Lao's neck, which was an absolute shock the first time I saw it. After Kung Lao gets his neck snapped by Shao Kahn, Liu Kang is absolutely pissed off. He's like, I should have been fighting. He shouldn't have even been in there, whatever. So he fights Shao Kahn and punches a hole in his chest. Shao Kahn survives this because it's going to take more than a hole in the chest to kill him, I guess. And Quan Chi keeps him alive and heals him using his sorceries. So Quan Chi is, once again, kind of helpful, kind of a big deal. Shang couldn't do that. Shang didn't heal him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's proving himself useful. Quan Chi then leaves and resurrects a naked Sindel, who just stands there in front of both Quan Chi and Noob Saibot. You remember this scene. Now that Sindel is living again, I should put that in quotes. She's living.
Powered up.
Now that she's around again. She can reverse the seal that she had originally cast over Earthrealm that protected them from invasion.
Great.
So she was the one that had protected she had done a seal basically before she was killed, or before she committed suicide. And that was to protect Earthrealm from her tyrannical husband that she already knew wanted to invade. And now he can, and Quan Chi has helped him do this. Another point for Quan Chi. And then we're going to jump ahead to Chapter 14, a few chapters later, because we never actually play as Quan Chi, of course. He's a bad dude. But here we play as Cyber Sub-Zero. Quan Chi is in Chapter 14 doing random spell stuff to a soulnado while Noob Saibot buys him time. Cyber Sub-Zero shows...
Stuff.
Yeah, right? He's just doing soulnado shit. So you play as Sub-Zero here, and Noob Saibot is buying him time. This is where they finally meet up, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're brothers, and we're both different than what we used to be. And Noob Saibot's like, fuck you, I'm perfect. You're just a robot. Apparently Cyber Sub-Zero needs help here, because after he beats Noob, he can't beat Quan Chi on his own, and then Nightwolf shows up, kicks Noob Saibot into a soulnado, and then beats up Quan Chi. He shows up, kicks Noob into a soulnado, who remains there for like 30 years.
Very Very unfortunate for Noob in that year.
In a soulnado for 30 years. We eventually see him in MK11. And then, Quan Chi gets beat up, and...
One of your favorite things.
It's really funny to see, and I feel like it happens in every game that he's in. Once we jump to chapter 16, this is the final chapter, and at this point, a desperate Raiden has decided to form an alliance with Quan Chi in order to stop the Earthrealm invasion that Quan Chi has put into place. So
this chapter, y'all.
Raiden visits Quan Chi, and he's just like, hey, I'll give you whatever you want. I'm Raiden. I'm really smart. And anyways, would you help me save Earthrealm? I'll give you all of the souls of all of the dead Earthrealm warriors, now and future. You're offering the souls of your dead warriors to me, a necromancer who can control the dead? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I will accept that. I will use that.
Yes, absolutely.
Quan Chi is a sorcerer of
ass
resource.
Yeah, he straight up asks Raiden, like, are you sure this is what they would want? And Raiden's like, yeah, pretty sure they would want this.
I love that it wasn't him just asking, are you sure you want to do this? It was Quan Chi rubbing it in and saying, are you sure, Raiden? Are you sure this is what they would want?
Mm-hmm.
They would want to serve me?
They would want to serve me.
Deal of a lifetime. Quan Chi walks off.
At this point, Quan Chi levels up. He gains the souls of Kung Lao, Smoke, Kuai Liang, Sub-Zero, Jax, Kitana, Nightwolf, Jade, Cabal, Sindel, and Stryker, and soon to be Liu Kang as well. Quan Chi's really smug about it. He gets all these servants. And then during the epilogue of the game, we see Quan Chi again, and he reveals that he's been working towards bringing Shinnok to power, which will come to fruition in MKX. And now is the perfect time for this, obviously, as Outworld and Earthrealm are both weakened due to this invasion that just happened. And he has a large collection of Revenant warriors at his command now, thanks to Raiden.
Thanks, Raiden.
Thanks, Raiden.
Idiot.
Right. His fatalities are leg beatdown. He gets that one back, the classic. And on your knees. And it's a sword one, where he basically just uses a sword to cut your legs off. You fall down, and then he beheads you, catches your head in the air. I read that this was apparently originally going to be one of Scorpion's fatalities, and then they gave him something cooler instead.
Okay.
So,
wow.
do with that what you will, I guess. But yeah, he got a reject Scorpion fatality for his secondary one.
I mean, I guess that's pretty good.
It's still called on your knees, which is something he says, right? No, that's what Kodo says. Yeah, I'm off. What am I thinking?
It does seem like something Quan Chi could say. Bow to me.
Bow to me. We're just
probably not how he says it.
We're
putting the Dark Souls witch inflection on it.
Yeah, I think we are. I don't know. It's been a while. Mortal Kombat X 2015. This game did another April release, April 14th, 2015. Quan Chi was announced over 6 months before this game came out.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the 9th character to be revealed. And yeah, he was announced on October 2nd, 2014. So you had 6.5 months to look forward to playing him. Quan Chi is a pretty important part of MKX, despite not being the true villain of the game. He pretty much sets everything into motion. Okay, at the start of the story here.
The mighty gods of Earthrealm. You befoul these hallowed grounds, Quan Chi. Begone. Surely you are pleased to see your friends.
So he brought a bunch of revenants to the Sky Temple with him. And this is the first time Raiden is seeing all of these guys. So I love that scene so fucking much. This is how the game starts.
Isn't Quan Chi such a meddling shit?
He's such a shithead. And of course he's like this genius schemer, whatever. But he's also such a shithead about all of it. And I think that's why I love him. It's pretty great. I love that scene. So he brings Cabal, Stryker, and Sindel with him to the Sky Temple, and he is here to steal Shinnok's amulet back. Fujin, Sonya, and Johnny are all fighting alongside Raiden in order to try to protect the amulet. So they're all fighting Quan Chi in the Sky Temple, along with his Revenant squad, when Quan Chi releases Shinnok, And then Shinnok suddenly just beats everyone's asses with ease. Destroys destroys Raiden, destroys Fujin, blasts Sonya away, and then suddenly Johnny saves the day with an eruption of green power that he never knew that he had. Johnny gets his green power here. Now we cut to the future. Now we are 25 years later. In chapter 5 already, once again.
A theme.
I know, right? It just keeps showing up in chapter 5s. So here we are with Raiden, Sonya, and Johnny all sneaking into Quan Chi's fortress to do something, some special ops shit. I don't really know what they're trying to do, but they're sneaking into his fortress with a couple of soldier dudes. And they get found immediately because Quan Chi and a group of revenants just teleport into the room right where they are. Like, hey, what's up? We expected you. And this is actually another flashback scene. So he's in a lot of flashback scenes to start. But Revenant, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Jax are all here as well. Johnny gets stabbed through the back by Jax, and it seems like he's going to die. And he's got one of those weird blood dudes coming out of Quan Chi's portal that looks like Johnny. It's looking pretty dire. It looks like he's going to die. But then Sonya and Raiden fight everybody, and Raiden heals Johnny, Jax, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, and turns them all into regular humans again, not revenants. So it turns out Raiden can heal people now with his lightning. I don't know how that works. If you know how Raiden's lightning heals people, let me know. I think that's really strange. But yeah, I guess he can do that as long as Quan Chi is still alive. So if Quan Chi dies, then the link to the revenants being restored, impossible. Hopefully that never comes into play later. Flash forward to the present in chapter 6, and Devora is speaking with a hologram of Quan Chi.
Of course she is.
In the jungle.
Right?
She's talking to him. He's decidedly older. You can see the wrinkles on his face and stuff because it's been 25 years. Yeah. This is his aged skin. That sounds weird. So it's revealed that Devora is a Brotherhood of Shadow member working for Quan Chi. She's also pretty tight with Kotal at this point. She's already worked her way into his inner circle. And Kotal is the one that's in possession of Shinnok's amulet. So she just kind of waltzes right on in and steals it. She doesn't have a whole lot of resistance. She kills like the 2 basic guards that are there and just pieces right out. Moving on to chapter 8. We're Jax now. And Jax goes to hell. I really wanted to say it that way, but for real, Jax goes to the Nether Realm. Jax goes to the Nether Realm because he's intimately familiar with it, having been a revenant in the past, so he knows his way around the Nether Realm.
Wait, so this is human Jax?
This is human Jax now, yes, he's been restored.
They're like, yeah, welcome back, Jax. The first thing you want to do you just want to go back to hell real quick?
We need you to go to hell for us. And he's just like, no, I can't, dude. It sucked there. I did some bad shit.
Me?
I did some real bad shit. I stabbed Johnny in the back. Yeah, so you play as Jax, you go to hell, and you have to fight your way through a whole bunch of revenants, which were your former allies, I guess. Former human allies, former revenant allies. You've worked with them twice now, and it stings. At this point, he knocks Quan Chi out. That was his goal, is to capture Quan Chi. So he captures him, knocks him out, and brings him back to Earthrealm, to the Special Forces base. We're going to jump ahead to chapter 9, where Scorpion shows up, and this is where you play him. Scorpion, just straight up Hanzo Hasashi now, and probably the worst outfit Scorpion has ever had. The regular human one with the long ponytail and MKX.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He shows up in that. I was watching the cutscenes for this, and I had forgotten all about that awful costume.
Yeah.
So that this scene happens, he looks like that. Well, he looks like the worst Hanzo we've ever received. Anyways. He shows up to kill Quan Chi because he's pretty pissed off. He knows about Quan Chi's... everything that Quan Chi's ever done at this point. Quan Chi's responsible for the death of his clan, his child, his wife, all that. So he's pretty pissed. Quan Chi has to die, in his opinion. And he's about to decapitate Quan Chi when Devora shows up and throws the amulet into Quan Chi's hand. It's like a slow-mo scene where it spins through the air. Quan Chi literally says, "Amulet." I love it. I had forgotten about this, but he like, it's great. He sees Devora and he says, "Amulet." before getting stabbed in the chest,
Oh.
but pulled back by the get over here, you know. And then he's about to get decapitated. He gets the amulet in his hand, completes the spell, dies. So Quan Chi is dead. The amulet falls to the ground, and out comes Shinnok. The elder god Shinnok has returned. Quan Chi might be dead, but he was successful. And then Shinnok immediately goes to work poisoning the Earthrealm's Jinsei. He also has Devora capture Johnny Cage because that's the only person that he thinks can destroy him or defeat him. So Johnny is out of the picture at this point. Not that that matters, because we are not going to cover any more of MKX at the moment, because Quan Chi is dead.
R.I.P.
So that is actually it for now for him. His fatalities are called Both Ends and Mind Game. In Mind Game, he puts the opponent in a trance and makes them walk face first into a sword with their mouth open, and then he lifts them up and cuts them in half with the sword, the long way, vertically.
Hot dog style.
Yeah, hot dog style. And then
Say what you want to say.
I wanted to say, I know.
It's like watching a really itchy person not be able to scratch themselves.
Literally, yeah. In Both Ends, he creates 2 portals on either side of him and then shoves the person, and they stumble halfway through a portal. He grabs either side of them, one arm, one leg, and just holds them in place while laughing for a minute, and then he shuts off both portals and they cut in half. I love it. It's a really good Quan Chi fatality. Mm-hmm. And this time they're cut in half at the waist, so I guess not hot dog style.
You got one for the hot dog style lovers and the hamburger style lovers.
That's right. Yeah, you do. We're going to jump ahead 8 years now, because he was not in Mortal Kombat 11 because he was dead. I guess they could have brought him back for
Tears
like
on
after.
my pillow.
Right? They could have brought him back for Aftermath or something if they really wanted, but whatever.
I guess they didn't really want to. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, right? He sets
Hasn't Quan Chi sat out enough? Hasn't he gotten killed to bring Shinnok back? And now Shinnok... I'm not even going to...
We're not going to get into that. Yeah, we're like, I know,
Let me just calm down.
So we're
Take
gonna
a breather.
Right? So we're going to jump ahead 8 years to Mortal Kombat 1, 2023. We are back to the fall releases. This game came out September 19th, 2023.
Whoa.
Or September 14th if you're nasty and you got the collector edition or premium edition.
Just call us nasty.
Just Nasty. Shout out to Just Nasty for being a really good Smoke player.
Yeah, hey.
At the moment, we still don't have a release date for Quan Chi, but he's expected to drop sometime before Christmas. I am praying that it's before Christmas because I need to get my Quanchmas on.
Yeah, I hope he comes out before Christmas too.
He's in the story as 50% of the Deadly Alliance. So he's as usual. And so I guess he's actually half of the final boss of this game, but the final boss doesn't really feel all that great. It feels really normal. It feels like you're fighting a normal enemy. Because you're fighting Shang Tsung with cameo Quan Chi. Yeah. A little bit less cool. Anyways. The game itself is still a lot of fun. And let's cover Quan Chi's elements of the story a little bit, just for fun. I love this shit. Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, and Shao Kahn are all scheming together. I should say General Shao, not Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
The 3 of them are scheming together after being given power and purpose from a mysterious benefactor that looks a lot like Kronika from MK11. I thought Titans couldn't come back. Oh well. Turns out it's MK11's Shang Tsung having one control of the hourglass in Aftermath. So there are 2 timelines now, which just confuses things, I feel like. The more you think about like time changes and parallel universes and Terminator-style time travel, the more twisted everything gets.
Yeah.
I should also mention that Liu Kang is the reason that these people are all living shitty lives in the new era. Quan Chi is a simple, sad boy mind dweller in this. I guess you could call him. He's languishing away in the mines, being a sad boy. We don't need to cover what the other 2 do.
No, we don't. You already know about them.
Right.
This is about Quan Chi.
Right. And the first thing he's really doing in the story is building soul stealers in the living forest when Ashra and a bunch of Earthrealmers stumble upon him. He's always doing these soul stealers.
You might have guessed.
Soulnados. Yeah.
You might have guessed what you would find Quan Chi doing with his newfound power.
What's he doing? Oh, he's making a soulnado. This is...
Yeah. He does this every now and then.
Specifically in the Living Forest. He powers his baby up and steals the souls of all of the forest, corrupting it before using them to create Ermac.
It's a worthy cause.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, even though the forest is corrupted now.
Fair.
Corrupted forest is one
He
of my
didn't
favorite
chop down any
stages.
trees, so I'm
True.
not mad about it.
Fair enough. During this soul stealing, one of the souls flies out and grabs Quan Chi by the face and turns him white.
Yeah,
Like-
so we finally have like a reason
For pale white.
Quan Chi's like painted white appearance.
Yeah, I think it was before he was just from the nether realm.
Yeah.
So that was why he was white before, I guess. Pale
I don't
white.
know.
Just a
With
demon.
like runes on his head.
Yeah, now he's just an outworlder. So, yes, Quan Chi is pale white now, and now we know how that happened. A random soul came out and grabbed his face and screamed into his face until he screamed. Or I guess he did scream a little bit, and then he just passes out.
Yeah.
He's like, oh. Well, he's
Quan
getting his...
Chi's extremely expressive.
I love it.
in this game.
I feel like he's one of the most expressive characters in the game, and
Absolutely. Quan Chi does these crazy eyes in MK1 story, and it is...
he's so expressive. He's so good. Shout out to the dude that played him, and I will actually go over all the names of the people that have played him later, just for fun, quickly later on. But yeah, so he's turned pale white. He's knocked out. He gets brought to a Sundo festival, and then he gets taken back by his own crew because they get him back from Johnny and whoever else was carrying him. A bit later, the Lin Kuei have to go find a different soul stealer at the Ying Fortress. A lot of soul stealers, a lot of soulnados. They walk into a trap set by Xiao, Shang, and Quan Chi, and Bihan agrees to join them after seeing gold and treasure and stuff. Pretty much. That's like the short version of it. Shang and Quan soon realize... I can't believe I just said Quan. It feels weird. Shang and Quan Chi soon realize they have been pawns for the Titan Shang. That has now revealed his plan, merging timelines. And they're kind of like, oh shit, even though we thought we were going to get power and do something cool, we're actually just going to get merged and stop existing. So I guess we have to help the good guys now? Good and evil isn't quite as important when you could just cease to exist. So they have to team up with Raiden and kind of save the day. It's not just them, it's a lot of other heroes. All the heroes show up and help save the day. And at the end of all of this, Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, and General Shao are all imprisoned in Outworld for the crimes that caused these events. Makes sense. You kind of set it all into motion. But yes, they are imprisoned for helping. And with that, that's all of his story at the moment. I do have a little trivia, or fun facts, I guess. I think they're fun. From Quan Chi's very first appearance all the way through Armageddon, he fired his green skull projectile from both hands. Starting with Mortal Kombat 9, he fired it with only one hand. And then in MKX, he fires it with his head.
Oh, like he kind of screams it out.
Yeah, he like leans forward, shouts, and it shoots out of his head. Pretty cool.
I like that better.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But
Yeah.
I'm biased to MK.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it. I think it's cool. But I just thought it was interesting that it was always two hands, then one, then his face.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he learned to keep his hands free so he could use those for other things. I don't know. Quan Chi was supposed to be shown at the end of the second Mortal Kombat movie, MK Annihilation. There's actually a deleted scene lost in time, just out there somewhere that no one has ever seen. But it's been filmed, and there are set photos and promotional photos of the dude in costume. Pretty cool.
But it never happened.
It was never released.
Yeah,
But
just
this scene does exist.
but no one's ever seen it.
Right.
Just like the MK versus DC Quan Chi that never came to light.
Right. That's 2 times.
Wild.
And I want to show you a picture of him. Because this would have been not quite the first appearance. Richard DeVizio was the first appearance. This guy.
Oh.
This would have been our Quan Chi for the MK movie. And I'll
Wow.
post this on the Twitter because it looks pretty sinister.
It does.
It looks
like,
good.
This is a good take on Quan Chi.
Is it?
Honestly,
It's
like
good.
this is peak Quan Chi.
It's good. I like it. Not sure if we would have got that particular actor if they would have made a third movie, because this is an unknown Thai actor. Nobody knows who he is.
Interesting.
It was just an extra on set. They didn't need any
Oh.
speaking roles. They just needed to show him and Shinnok at the end of the movie.
Wow.
So
Well, he's wearing the part extremely well.
yeah,
Wish
definitely.
we would have had that.
I know, right? They most likely they would have recast and had someone else actually play him, but still very
It
cool.
looks so good, though.
doesn't it? It's a really good outfit. So yeah, there are promo photos like that, and I think that's really cool.
Wow.
Quan Chi has been voiced by 2 different people in animation, Nick Chinlund in Defenders of the Realm, and Darren DePaul in Mortal Kombat Legacy: Scorpion's Revenge. He's had 3 different voice actors in the Mortal Kombat games. Richard DeVizio voiced him in MK Mythologies as well as acting in the cutscenes, and he voiced him in MK4. Ronald M. Banks voiced him 3 times in MK vs. DC, MK9, and MKX. That's probably the voice that you're most familiar with, that most people think of first.
Mm-hmm.
Sean T. Krishnan, I hope I'm saying that right, voices him in both Mortal Kombat 1 and MK Onslaught, the mobile game. With Shahjahan Khan, I pray I'm saying that right, as the MK1 face model. So a lot of representation as far as different actors go for this character.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in 2 different live-action TV shows, Mortal Kombat Conquest, played by Adani Maropis, and Legacy, played by Michael Rogers. I want to show you pictures of these dudes as well, which I will also post to the Twitter. This is the guy from Legacy, or from Conquest, the 1998 show that focuses on Kung Lao. And this is the terrible Quan Chi from the mid-2000s Mortal Kombat Legacy web series.
Okay, mid-2000s web series. Yeah, it's all checking out.
It's bad.
That's bad.
It's a white guy, first off.
It looks so bad.
He looks like he's all icy for some reason, and he's got just red on one side of his face, just on his cheek.
And I'm not feeling the all-over contacts.
Or
the completely black eyes.
Yeah, or the shitty outfit. What is this?
No. And the stance, too.
Yeah,
Why
it
you wouldn't
sucks. It's
stand
not
like
good.
that?
It's not good. It's like probably the worst misstep in that series. Because generally I do like that show for the most part, but that's not a good part of it at all. And neither is the Ermac that shows up, so I'm sorry.
We don't want to talk about that.
If we ever watch that. No, it's bad. Anyways. He's going to be in Mortal Kombat 2, the movie that's filming right now, and he's going to be played by Damon Harriman. I don't know who this is. I've never seen him in anything else. I'll give him a chance, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for more Quan Chi anytime I can get him. So pretty cool that he's still going strong all these years later, and he's still getting represented by more people. Overall, he's been portrayed by 9 different people, which I think is wild. And he's only missed 3 games since he's been around. That's all the fun facts that I have on Quan Chi. I had a lot of fun with Quan Chi, researching him, watching all these random clips. I watched some clips from Conquest as well, where the dude is a lot more sinister. He's like aggressive and angry. Didn't seem like it fit, but the guy looked the part. So that was still pretty cool. I got to see a lot more Quan Chi stuff than I was previously familiar with. So I had a good time.
Yeah, that's a win for you.
Right? I was just in here taking notes at the desk and watching random clips from a show from 1998 where he just like talked down on these demon girls, and kind of felt bad about that, but I guess they're just demons or something. I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't age super great, but it's still fun to go back and watch it.
Okay.
Just kind of, for what it is.
All right, cool. Well, Quan Chi returns to our lives very soon.
Very, very soon.
If you have been needing a Quan Chi fix, I hope this has satiated your hunger for a bit, staved you off until hopefully the next few weeks when we get him. So countdown on that begins.
Yeah, I'm praying in the next 3 weeks we'll get him.
And
Still no word.
Also in the movie, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
All I know is that I think I saw that this actor was getting kind of buff for the role.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Some gym pics or something, but all right. Well, thanks for bringing us all the Quanch.
Absolutely. And I'm sure once he comes out, we'll talk about him. We'll talk about him more, and we'll continue to cover Quan Chi as.
If you could get one of his fatalities reimagined into a new fatality or brutality or something, just one, which would it be?
I want to see the neck stretch come
I
back
knew
as a brutality.
I knew you were gonna say
I
that.
really wanted to say the leg one, the leg rip or leg beatdown, whatever it's called. I love that one, but I want to see a new version of neck stretch.
Fair enough. I mean, it would be fun.
It's so
I can't.
so
I feel
ridiculous.
like it's time.
It's
Let's
so
do it.
ridiculous.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I need it.
Okay. Well, in our S developers, you have your notes.
I hope that's his throw brutality, so it'll be really easy to get off. Anyways, I think that's all we have.
All right. With that, woolay.
Woolay. Woolay. Woolay.
Bow to me.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Wake Up 3. You can follow along on Twitter at Wakeupthreefgc or on YouTube and Spotify at Wakeup3. I'm your host Cam, and you can find me at Big Ruck Online on all social media.
And I'm your host Molly, and you can find me on Twitter at Concut, that's KAHNKUT, or on PlayStation, that's Jan Michaels.
This is Wake Up 3 signing off.
Bye.
You beef.
Okay, you beef.
You beef.
You beef.